Okay, awesome. Let me set the timer. Perfect. So let's start. Hola, queridos amigos de la bitácora que siguen la bitácora del Capitán, querida comunidad de Land and Dive Encounter. La verdad que estamos muy, pero muy emocionados con este segundo webinar. Traemos un invitado de lujo, ¿qué les puedo decir? La verdad es que es alguien que yo he admirado mucho, más allá por todos sus logros, eh, por, por su pasión y por cómo protege y cuida a los tiburones. So, Andy, thank you very much to be part of this webinar, my friend.
I'm honored, man. I appreciate you reaching out. I know we've known each other, over the years through our shark connection. So it's great to finally connect and collaborate.
I really appreciate, my friend. As I tell you before, I'm a huge fan of your work. You inspire me as a photographer, and not just me. You inspire all the shark photographers around the world. You're the best, man. I mean, you're a role model, and not just a role model. You protect the sharks like nobody do it. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation, my friend.
Thank you for the kind words. Yes, it's amazing to work in this arena, in this industry, in conservation, and entertainment. I do a lot of Shark Week, which is a double-edged sword, good and bad. But we can talk about all of that. So I thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Well, just a little introduction of you. Well, you have a lot of accomplishments, but you're well, as you tell us, you've been working a lot of time for a long time with Shark Week, which is good. I mean, it's better than bad. No, that's my point of view.
Me too. Yeah.
It's always good to talk about sharks. Well, you have a couple of Emmy winner filmmakers awards, and as I tell you before, you're a role model for us. Um, so let's start, Andy. Can you tell us something about you? Who's Andy? And why you love sharks?
Really, it's really simple for me. It was a childhood fascination. As a kid, you get, inundated with visual and auditory and emotional stimulus. And the one thing that completely captivated me and the one thing I just could not stop thinking about was sharks. And, I saw them on television. I saw them in magazines. I was born in the 1900s, so we didn't even have the internet when I was born in 1977, obviously. And then as things progressed, I started watching more films, and then, I always say this, but my parents, when you watch Superman fly around the city and save people, and you want to jump off the building and fly, they say, listen, don't believe everything you see on television, because some of it is make believe, some of it is not real. If Superman can fly, it doesn't mean you can fly. Then I see great white sharks flying out of the ocean. I see all these incredible things, and the more I watched, at first, I thought it was fake. I thought it was like my parents say, it's made up, it's make believe. But then it was all true. They're like the greatest super predator on the planet, and it just captivated my everything. And I think part of it was I could tell that a lot of people, at a young age, but deep down, I felt like these guys were the underdog. After Jaws, everybody hated sharks. Everyone wanted to kill sharks, hang them up. Only good shark is a dead shark. So really, my fascination started just by seeing a shark, and it was a childhood obsession. So from there, I just never stopped thinking about them. And then fast forward now, I'm 47 years old. I've been working with sharks for 25 years. I've been so lucky to travel almost everywhere, and not everywhere in the world, but many places to experience and interact and coexist with the sharks, and then put it into a film that can inspire people. I get thousands of emails every year from parents and students and people. Sorry, I had an alert coming up there. It was to remind me
So
for this, actually. We started a little early. But yes, geez, I lost my train of thought there. What was I even talking about?
you've been talking about how you start with the
Oh,
shark
sorry, I
diving,
lost
and
your audio here
how
for
you,
a second. Strange.
do you hear me?
My bad. Do I not hear you?
Do you hear
Is
me?
yours on mute by any chance? I don't know why
Uh,
mine stopped the audio.
Let,
I do
let me check.
apologize.
Let me check. Just give
I
me a
can
minute.
see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you.
Do you hear
Let
me?
me see what is happening.
Okay. Do you hear me right now?
1 second, camera. Yes, that's me. Everything looks good on your end. I just don't hear you. Can you hear
Do you-
me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Do you hear
Okay.
me?
And you're mute. Yeah.
Do you hear me right now?
Now I hear you.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
So we were talking about how you start with the scuba diving world. What was first, the sharks or the scuba diving?
The sharks, for sure. The only reason I learned to scuba dive was so that I could get closer to sharks, so I could enter their home. I learned to dive in Monterey, California, and my very, very first open ocean dive, I lost my dive instructor and my dive partner because I was sitting there waiting on the bottom. Monterey, horrible visibility, very hard to see. And of course, great white sharks are very common in California. Not very common, but it's their territory, especially Northern California. So I'm up there and then I'm waiting for my instructor and my dive partner to finish the skills. He has to take the regulator out, recover the regulator, clear the mask. While he's doing that, I'm looking around. I start looking, maybe I'll see a shark for my first time in the ocean. Maybe I'm so lucky. Well, I'm looking, and then I turn around. Holy shit. My dive master, my partner, they're gone. I can't see anything. Obviously, I drifted away. Anyway, that was embarrassing. So I had to go to the surface. The dive instructor was not happy with me. My dive buddy, hey, what the hell? You're my dive buddy. You're gone. So anyway, I learned to scuba dive purely to get in the water with sharks. I like it, but honestly, I don't really go scuba diving for fun. I go scuba diving to interact with sharks, which is fun. But I'm a shark diver, not a scuba diver.
Awesome, bro. Hey, how old were you when you start doing this? When you
I,
start doing the scuba diving?
in 2000 is when I got my dive certification in California, so my PADI certification, and then since then I've dived rebreathers and nitrox and mixed gas and all that kind of stuff. But so 25 years now I've been a diver.
Awesome. And Andy, what become first, the sharks or the filmmaker?
Oh, definitely the sharks. So that's the story. So I used to work in software. I was living in California, working with databases. I was a Microsoft certified systems engineer, working on networks and ghosting images to create companies and build infrastructure and networks. It was incredibly boring. It's cool to understand code and technology, but it's soulless. There's not much to it. So every day I'm Googling about sharks and I'm learning, and I went to get my dive certification. And after I got my dive certification, I quit my job in California and I moved to South Africa to work as an unpaid research cameraman for the White Shark Trust. So I went from California making a lot of money as a software engineer to moving to South Africa making zero money, but I was working with great white sharks. I couldn't believe it. So I was going to be a marine biologist and work as a field researcher. And it turns out that while I was in South Africa, National Geographic came down to make a film about the research that we were doing near Cape Town. And at that point, I was crazy and doing. I was very I was willing to do anything. Swim out of the cage. Just work as hard as I could for the sharks. And the National Geographic film crew, they're like, "Hey man, you're crazy. This is awesome. You really love these sharks so much. You even have a song about them." I played them my Great White Shark song. Yeah,
It's an awesome song. Yeah, I remember
thank
that
you.
song, that video. I love it.
Yeah, so I played them this Great White Shark song before I even had the video, and the director said, "This is incredible. Do you want a job at National Geographic?" And I said, "Yes, of course I do." I didn't really believe them. I thought they were, just making it up. Anyway, 2 weeks later, I get a job offer from National Geographic. I signed the contract. I moved to Washington, D.C., and from there, I started my career as a wildlife filmmaker. It was completely by accident. Before that, I was just taking still photographs of the great whites. I have one there behind me. And I was taking photos of the dorsal fins because everyone is unique. The trailing edge has patterns. You can use it as a fin print. So anyway, if National Geographic had not come down and met me there on that project, I would probably still be down there. I was starting to make a little bit of money playing my guitar to the tourists. I was making about 100 Rand a day, which was back then about, I don't know, $11. But that was enough for beer and, a place to sleep. So anyway, yeah, my career as a filmmaker was by accident. It was all because of the sharks. So I never planned to become a cinematographer. I was a stills photographer, and now because of the great white sharks, because of National Geographic, Shark Week, all these, there's no animal on the planet that gets more media coverage than the shark. I mean, Shark Week, obviously, they have their own week, Shark Fest. There's sharks everywhere on television. 40, 50 sometimes films every year are made about sharks. And the grizzly bear might get one film a year. The lions, maybe one or two. The polar bears, one or two. Killer whales, same thing. The sharks, they dominate, and they are the most famous wildlife creatures on Earth, and it's for a good reason. They are the protectors of the ocean. Without the oceans, humans will die. Most people don't realize that the majority of the air we breathe, it comes from the ocean. So even if you live on a mountain or in the desert, we're all breathing the atmosphere, the air, and the sharks maintain the balance. A lot of people don't understand that. Fishermen think there's too many sharks now. There's more sharks than there ever have been. Yeah, news alert. Sharks live in the ocean. It's their home. They protect, they balance, they eat fish. It's their fish. We need to coexist with them. So anyway, we can get into that for sure. But yeah, filmmaking was by accident. That was the greatest mistake of my life, I guess. It was good.
That's awesome, bro. Hey, tell us about your first shark encounter.
Oh, yeah. So it was underwhelming. I'll be honest. I was in Australia on the Great Barrier Reef. Just a brand new diver. I had learned in California, and I had mentioned I moved to South Africa. But right before I went to South Africa, after I left my desk job as the software engineer, I then decided I have to travel a little. So I went to New Zealand, Australia, Thailand, Southeast Asia, all over. And when I was in Australia, I was on the Great Barrier Reef, and we're doing the dive briefing, and I have a random dive partner, some German girl, and I'm like, oh, we're going to see some sharks? And she's like, I hope not. I hope we don't see any sharks. Oh, it's going to be amazing. And the dive master's like, yeah, we're probably going to see some sharks, whatever. And, they're chill, cool Australians. Anyway, we're down there looking around, and then bam, right there, my very first shark. And it was a
Awesome.
white tip reef shark. It was about 3 feet long, like really small. I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, there's a shark. Of course, like an inexperienced new diver, I swam right towards the shark. The shark got afraid, swam away, little cloud of sand. And then I'm like, oh man, my very first shark. What a wimp. That little thing was scared, more afraid of me than me of it. But that was funny because I realized right off the bat that there are 500 plus species. Maybe they change the number all the time. Check with AI what they're counting now. But there's so many different species of sharks, and I was so focused on the great white, which is like the keystone species. If people care about the top sharks, it trickles down to the cookie cutters and the seven gill sharks and the bull sharks and the makos and everything else. You can like whatever shark you want as long as you like some sharks. Then you're good with me.
Awesome, bro. I think that happened for all of the shark divers or first encounters. We always chase the shark, and we're surprised, no? Why they are scared, no? But it's
Right.
awesome. Hey, Andy, tell me, do you have which is your role model? I mean, a filmmaker that you admire, somebody that inspire you, some people that inspire you to become a filmmaker or a shark diver?
Yeah, that's very tough. I mean, everyone knows David Attenborough, obviously. I was honored to be able to work with him very, very briefly, but I met him, I filmed with him. I even showed him footage of me with these two great white sharks outside of the cage in Western Australia. The visibility was amazing. They're swimming over top of me, around me. I'm petting one of them. One of them bumps on the camera. And I'm showing him this, David Attenborough, Sir David Attenborough, at a dinner table in Florida in West Palm Beach. And he says, that looks like it's photoshopped. And I was like, hey, thank you. I mean, it was a big compliment coming from the godfather of natural history and wildlife filmmaking. So he's obviously a massive inspiration because he's such a gentleman. He doesn't really preach. He gives you facts. He's incredibly intelligent. He's very eloquent. And then, on the flip side of that, so Sir David Attenborough, and then you have Steve Irwin. Some people didn't like Steve. He was too hands-on. He was too much of a bogan. He was too cavalier with the animals. But if I never was lucky enough to meet Steve, but many people that know, millions, everyone that really knew him realized that he really, really cared, and he literally put his life on the line to show people every side of the crocodile and the shark and the snakes. I'm not nowhere near Steve Irwin. I am not a very hands-on animal guy. I'm a cameraman, and he worked with some great cameramen. I even know the team that was with him when he died. I went out to the same location and made a film out at Bat Reef where he unfortunately lost his life there. But yeah, Steve Irwin, David Attenborough, and then, geez, man, I mean, even now I'm inspired by filmmakers on YouTube and Instagram. There's so many people out there creating content. I follow some feeds and I'm like, man, I shouldn't have these Emmy Awards. This guy, this girl, this person should have them. So, yeah, I have a lot of heroes, but I would say, Steve and Sir David are probably the biggest ones. And then there's guys like Stan Waterman. What a badass.
And Waterman, yeah.
Hey, he's got a patch, and I met him a few times. What a great guy. And then the pioneers, Ron and Valerie Taylor. These people were diving with great whites in no cages before I was born. Now we have Shark Week and social media, so everyone's like, "Oh, you do this amazing stuff. Look at all this. Look at it." We're not, we do amazing stuff, but we didn't start this. We weren't the pioneers. So I have a lot of respect for everyone that came before us.
Awesome, Andy. Thank you for sharing. Hey, Andy, what had been the biggest challenge in your career as a filmmaker, and how did you overcome them?
Well, for me, it was being one of the busiest cameramen in the world right when my kids were born. So I have two kids now, Ace and Nova. I got some pictures of them back there. And they were born in 2013 and 2015. And this was right when I had my own TV series and multiple, working on all these series where we won the Emmy Awards. And I was loving my job, but loving my kids even more. But I also was starting out. I had to make a living. So it was a big balance I did my best to not miss their birthdays and miss important events. Or if I was going to miss it, I would fly them over to me and be with me. I do remember there's one time in my career that I accepted a job officially through email or phone call. Yep, I'm booked. Sounds good. It was in Mexico with whale sharks. And they wanted me to go down there to put some cameras on whale sharks and film a scientist swim with the whale sharks. Very easy, super fun, laid back. No sharks are going to rip your face off and eat you. Not that they would do that in general, but whale sharks, it's like a walk in the park. It's peaceful. And it was down in Isla Mujeres. Anyway, I took the job, and then when I looked at my schedule, I realized, wow, I'm going to go from this job to New Zealand, to South Africa, back to the Bahamas, Mexico, and I will not see my kids for like 4 weeks, and this is going to be so tough. So I was literally having like a mental breakdown, and I realized, man, I said yes to this job, but I cannot do it. If I do it, I will not be able to live with myself because it's showing that I'm putting work in front of my family. So I called 5 different cameramen immediately that I knew that had the same camera systems. They knew whale sharks. They've been there. They're just as good as me as a shooter, or not better. And I called them, and none of them are available except one, a buddy of mine, Johnny Friday. He's a great guy. I said, Johnny, man, I fucked up. I booked a job, but I'm not doing it. I can't. I'm having a mental breakdown. I need to see my family. He's like, I got you, bro. He had the same camera, the same gear. So I lined him up. I made sure he was available. I told him the rate. He's like, awesome. And then I called the production company. I said, guys, I'm sorry, I can't make it. They're like, what do you mean you can't make it? I said, don't worry. I got this guy to cover it, same camera set, and it worked out fine. So I think deep in your heart, if you're working through something and you have a problem and you're feeling pressure from the professional side, the personal side, inside, you have to just follow your heart, because if I would have taken that job, I would have not been there mentally. It would have been easy. I can be on autopilot, get the shots, but I'm glad that I said no eventually, and I found, and then from there I started really looking at my schedule. So the way I overcame the challenge and the problem of balancing family and work life was just to prioritize both. Make sure we have family time booked. And then the thing about production, as you know, Discovery will say, cool, we're going to go to New Zealand on April 1st. And then, oh, wait, we got to go a week early. Oh, actually, we didn't get the permits. We're going to go 2 weeks from now. We're going to go next year. So things change constantly. And I just didn't let that get to me. And I always had to have sort of prioritized family. And then if that couldn't work, I would bring them with me. So they've been all over the world with me. My kids have been diving in
Awesome.
Guadalupe in the cages in South Africa when my son was 4 years old. I brought him in the shark cage. He was so cold. We put 2 wetsuits on him, and you can still fit your hand all the way through the wetsuit. My little daughter was on the boat, 2 years old, watching the great white sharks. So I think I'm not sure if you've got family, but if you, of course, you have family, but everyone that works in our business, it's a struggle, because as filmmakers, you have to travel far and often, and sometimes you can't bring them. So yeah.
Yes, I understand you because I have 2 kids and I don't want to miss a football soccer player because
Right.
a football soccer game because right now it's the most important for me more than sharks. I understand you, but I also love sharks and I also love my job. Hey Andy, what role does it? You already tell me, but what role does Emma and the kids play in your job, in your passion?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started my passion, when the passion
Mhm.
took a hold of me, it was all about the sharks and all about trying to interact with them and learn as much as possible. And then when I had kids, I realized, wow, these sharks are not just important to me, they're going to be important to my kids, and I have to teach them. And every gift they got was a shark and a stuffed animal and this and that and whatever. So their whole life they had no choice. So they just love sharks because they're so familiar with them. They're not afraid of them like many people are, but they're smart. They know that there's risks, and you don't treat sharks like puppy dogs. They're predators, and they can be instinctual. So I've trained my kids, to understand, how to coexist. They're not perfect, neither am I. We can always make mistakes, but yeah, they're a big part of it. For me, eventually I'm going to be too old to go on Shark Week, but I won't be too old to be there and have Ace and Nova. They could be the new stars of Shark Week.
Awesome.
Or if they like dolphins, that's cool.
That's
If
cool.
they,
Exactly.
whatever they want to do, to be honest, because, but yeah, I definitely see them. I want to push them to continue, not push them, but I want to inspire them and empower them if they want to continue careers in wildlife conservation, filmmaking, research, education, whatever they want to do. And I had mentioned to you, I can't talk much about it, but I'm starting a big project where hopefully it will expand to the point where they'll have options to do whatever they want, whether they want to study turtles, dolphins, whales,
Awesome.
manatees, fish, whatever it is.
Awesome. Andy, can you share with us your 3 top moments, magical moments with sharks?
Yeah, the one that I referenced earlier with David Attenborough was Western Australia. It was on a Shark Week film. We went down there to not discover. We went down there to look at a new area that these fishermen in Australia were seeing a lot of great whites. And when we got there, I couldn't believe the visibility was so phenomenal, and the sharks were so polite. Because the viz was good, the sharks were relaxed. I was able to get out of the cage by myself. One of my friends was there. He preferred to stay in the cage, and he got some incredible shots of me interacting with these 2 great whites. And I was blown away because these same 2 sharks swam with each other for the whole day. And we went back the next day. The next day, they stayed with each other the whole time we were there for
Awesome.
almost 3 weeks. Then I went back 14 months later, and a year and 2 months later, and these same 2 sharks were still hanging out with each other. And I started to realize, great white sharks can have up to 15 pups. I believe the record for the number of litter, baby pups, in a female white shark was 14. Or did I say 15? I think they counted 14 and they missed one. I think it's 15, but we can fact check that. But it proves that if a white shark has gives birth, it could give birth to up to 15 sharks. or
Awesome.
2 or 4 or 6, whatever. Bottom line is it's a number of sharks. And if they're all born or pupped in the same area or on the same reef, they're bound to bump into each other. They're bound to potentially compete with each other or collaborate with each other. And basically, what I believe is when the sharks are born, a lot of little brothers and sisters, they're swimming around, they're bumping into each other. Hey, where are you going, Billy? Oh, I'm going to go over here. There's stingrays to eat, or there's a place over here to hide from the big bad sharks, or whatever. And I believe these two sharks were related, potentially brothers, and they were learning to hunt together, and they were thriving together and realizing, wow, we're better, we're stronger, faster, and more efficient as a team. Many people, they're always like, oh, dolphins, whales, orcas, any mammals, they have a family unit and they protect each other and they nurture each other. But we've always had this mindset where sharks, they're just mindless killers, lonely lords of the sea. When they're born, they just want to eat and kill. I believe there's a softer side of sharks, a secret life of sharks, where they are out there and they have brotherhoods and sisterhoods and friendships and
Awesome.
collaborations, like we're doing right now. They're not stupid. So many people like sharks are dumb. They're just stupid animals that eat a bunch of stuff. How can an animal that's outlived every mass extinction, humans and dinosaurs, not humans yet? Well, that's a so anyway, these animals are clearly intelligent enough to survive on planet Earth longer than any other species, aside from little bacteria and whatever started this planet, or God, whatever you believe in. Doesn't matter to me. Sharks have been here for a long time, and they're really good at what they do. So, yeah. Again, I even forgot what the question was. I'm just rambling. But
Your,
yeah.
your 3 moments. You
Oh,
tell us
yeah.
one.
So, yes. The second biggest moment was probably, oh man, these are tough. But we many years ago on Shark Week, we were trying, before they released the drones. Before drones came out, had a big hot air balloon, a helium air balloon with a phantom camera, like a $300,000 camera and lens system and hard drive, and we were trying to get a great white shark to breach and film it on the balloon, and the balloon would get blown around, and the decoy would stay in the one place, and then finally one day on the last day, all these films you see, oh, we got it on the last day, literally last day,
Literally,
last film.
yeah.
And we got this incredible shot of the shark breaching from an aerial perspective. It was a new perspective. And then the next year, everyone had a phantom drone and DJI, and it all went like you could get that shot in your sleep. So that was kind of a proud moment. And then one
Awesome.
other one that was really incredible, shooting for the BBC in False Bay, South Africa, Air Jaws territory, the place that really put breaching on the map with great white sharks. And I was there with the BBC, and I was shooting with the red camera, and I was shooting with their camera. It was funny. I had all my own gear, but the BBC, they wanted, they're good at budgeting, and they want to make sure they get as much shooting as they can. So I was using their gear. I'm waiting there in the morning. There's a group of 8 seals leaving the island, and then out of the nowhere, in the middle of one of them, a great white shark breaches and grabs one, right in full catch, head and tail, and goes back in. And I captured the shot, but I'm using a pre-record, a cache system. So
Yes.
I'm holding the camera, I'm filming, but it's not writing or recording until I trigger the button. And then it's going to save everything from 4 seconds before that, and everything else I was rolling
Yeah.
on. Anyway, the shark breaches, everyone screams, it's amazing. They even have a film crew filming me getting the shot. And then I see it, I get it, and then I hit the camera to save the clip, to record. And then it says side handle locked on the fucking screen. And this was their camera system, and I didn't realize they had set a side handle lock setting. And it was counting down 4, 3, 2.
No.
And then I remembered on the main body of the camera, there's the on and off switch, which also can act as the record switch. So I was so panicked. How the fuck? And then I hit the record on and off. It saved the clip. I couldn't believe
Oh,
it. I almost went from getting not the greatest shot, but a really awesome predation moment for the BBC Shark series. Everyone saw that I captured it, but if I didn't hit that button within that 1 second, I would have not had the shot. So that would be maybe I wouldn't be talking to you right now, because they often say you're only as good as your last job. So you can be the best cameraman, camerawoman in the world, but if you screwed up your last job really badly, a lot of people will find out, and they're like, "Yeah, don't hire Andy. He doesn't know where the record button is." So, yeah, but you gotta be, yeah, you just gotta go with it. So, yeah, I was lucky that I figured that out before too late.
Awesome.
So yeah, those three, the two brothers in Australia, the balloon breach, and then the BBC predation breach. And I can send you a link to it, or I have it on Instagram or
It will be
whatnot.
great. It will be great, so we can share it with your audience. Hey,
Yeah.
Andy, talking about camera gears. What gear do you use, and what gear do you suggest?
Yeah, so over the years, I've been shooting red cameras primarily for the big networks. I started with the Red Epic, and then I went to the Red Dragon, then to the Red Weapon, and I'm still on the Red Weapon, the 8K Helium, because it's 8K, shoots incredible raw footage. But I also use a ton of GoPros. GoPros have just really helped us get cameras in places you can't put a big camera. I'm sure you use GoPros as well. Over the years, now I'm starting to use 360 cameras like the Insta 360. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorites because it just captures everything. I recently put a 360 fin camera on a great hammerhead in the Bahamas, and that was really incredible perspective. You see all around the hammerhead, swims up to the divers, cruises around. It doesn't hurt the shark. It's just a spring-loaded clamp with some grip tape. It stays there. It doesn't pierce or do anything detrimental. So yeah, I love all the new cameras, and I'm starting to realize, you know, you don't. Well, I've always realized you don't need the best cameras to get the best shots. It's really about being there and putting in the hard work. It helps with good cameras, but with GoPros and 360 cams and drones and everything out there, it's way more affordable than it used to be. So, but yeah, my primary cameras are Red, GoPro, and Insta 360, and then of course DJI for drones.
Awesome, bro. Hey, for those who want to start, for those who are looking to start shark diving, what preparation do you recommend to ensure a safe and respectful interaction?
Well, if people that are just starting out, you absolutely want to go with experienced shark divers, experienced operators, ecotourists, places. I mean, I am lucky to have dived and worked with some, if not all, but most of the top shark diving operators on the planet, from New Zealand to South Africa, Australia, Mexico, Bahamas, all over the place. So obviously, there's plenty of forums and shark Instagram profiles and feeds where you can reach out and say, hey, are these guys good? Are these guys bad? But yeah, I recommend going obviously with a trained operator. Yeah, it's good to be a good diver as well. If you're going to start interacting with predators and animals that could potentially inflict harm or cause inflated risks, you should understand how to dive very well. You don't want to jump into a situation where your poor diving skills are creating more risk. You want to be a good diver. You want to have good equipment and just go with people that you trust. Because I've seen a lot of sort of pretty sketchy shark dives out there where tiger sharks are nibbling on people's arms and legs, and they don't even know it, and the other people are just filming. It's weird. So,
Yeah, it happens all the time.
yeah.
And uh, what are the most common mistakes beginner make in shark diving, and how can they avoid them?
I think one of the most common mistakes is what I did the first time I was shark diving and I saw that shark in the Barrier Reef is to be too aggressive, to swim directly at the sharks. Sharks, yes, they're powerful predators, but they're not stupid. They usually like no confrontation when they don't need to throw down. They don't want static if they're not there hunting or if they're not there to whatever territoriality. So don't chase sharks around. Let them relax. Let them come to you. Don't do what I do on Shark Week and on a lot of the shoots I do is where I sit on the bait box or I'm standing right at the bait box because I want to get the close encounters, but I've had, lots of experience with close, shark on shark combat. Not combat, but I at the same time I could still get bit at any time and any day. I've been doing it for 25 years and I've never been bit. I've never had any issues. I've had the sharks, they bite my cameras, they bite the housings, they bite. I've never had them. I've had one or two reef sharks bite my fins, but I've never been knock on wood or something here. I've never been bit myself. So I think just staying calm, being respectful, like you said, is really important. Just don't try to take a selfie with a shark that you just met. I mean, if you there's sharks out there where you can take selfies with them, but you don't want to be doing this with tiger sharks and I mean, if you're in a cage with great whites. But I say that, and then I'm sure I have a picture of me with a selfie and a tiger shark somewhere. So I don't want to be a hypocrite here. I push the envelope sometimes. I do things that I don't recommend other people doing. But it's like anything else. If I see somebody base jumping on TV and like, oh, that looks awesome, I'm going to buy a base jump canopy and jump off and see if it works. It's like you see someone on TV swimming with a great white. You're like, that looks cool. Let me buy some fins and a mask. And yeah, and the other thing is, I see the number one mistake that new divers make is their masks. Masks are so foggy they can't see anything. I use the toothpaste trick. You use like some gritty toothpaste, like paste, not gel. You rub it in the mask. Some people burn it with a lighter. Do whatever you have to do. But even, man, I've been out with a lot of celebrities and a lot of like pro people, and their masks. My masks never fog. I just use spit and toothpaste, and it's never failed me. So, do whatever you guys like, but if you have a foggy mask, I'm going to make fun of you, and then you're not going to be able to see the sharks very well. But I won't make fun of you, but I'll laugh in my head.
Awesome. Thank you for the advices. Hey, what role do amateur photographers and videographers play in shark conservation?
Say that again. What roles do other photographers and videographers play?
Do amateur
Oh, amateur.
photographers and videographers play in shark conservation?
Well, I think that the word amateur nowadays, it's like let's start it this way. The definition of professional, from what I understand, is being paid for your job, being paid to do your profession. So if you're a professional, you get paid for that. People on Instagram that post that are amateurs, but they're getting paid by the algorithm and they're making money through whatever means that social media is paying you. Technically, they're no longer amateur. They are professionals. So I truly believe whether you have no followers or you've never sold a picture or you have, all these awards and you work for everybody, everyone can play a role. Some of the most incredible footage and the most interesting behavioral sequences I've ever seen are from random people that just had a GoPro. I mean, you've seen a lot of these videos lately where tiger shark swimming up attacks a kayak, but the fisherman was fishing. Recently, the guy in New Zealand, he's getting chased by that great whitefish. He was fishing, but I thought he handled it pretty well. He stayed calm. He told the shark, bro, please don't attack me, which is good. Sharks can communicate, maybe not exactly in English, or Spanish or whatever, but they get your vibe. And if you act like a prey item, if you freak out and panic, and if that guy just totally panicked and splashed and went crazy, the shark potentially would have been excited, grabbed the kayak, and potentially it could have gotten worse. But he stayed calm, he paddled, he did his thing. So amateur footage like that, if he didn't film that, it wouldn't be a learning point for other people. And there's plenty of other footage underwater of amateurs filming sharks biting people or doing something interesting. So for me, anyone that has a camera can be a professional. They can be a researcher. They can contribute to science, education, whatever it is. I don't like when people are intimidated. I remember I used to be intimidated by people with a PhD. Oh, you're Dr. So-and-so, Dr. Shark this, Dr. Shark that. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of great friends with PhDs and do amazing work. But I've worked with a handful of academics that are great at the book work, great at the office work, great at the papers, but they are horrible in the field. So you can have all the credentials you want, but there is absolutely no substitute for real world experience. And I believe I have some of the most extensive real world experience on the planet with sharks. And, I've learned a lot. And, I even thought about going back, getting my master's and PhD. And then I thought, man, that's less time in the water with sharks. Let me just read more, work with AI, learn as much as I can, and apply that in real time. I'll save the money that I'm going to spend on a university and put it onto fin cameras and different tags and accelerometers and stuff that you can do without a degree.
Awesome. So let me check the other questions. How can anyone contribute to shark conservation from their home?
Well, just like we're doing right now, we're both, in our homes here or in our respective studios. This is my little man cave where I build a lot of my cameras and I prep my gear. From home, I mean, now with the internet, really, like you really can reach the world. And often, I was just talking about the academics, you can write the most influential scientific shark research paper on the planet. And thousands and thousands and thousands of people will read it. A lot of scientists, a lot of people in the industry. But you can make a 15-minute TikTok video that you shot in your bathroom and 1 billion people will see it. The reality of media is that it is so powerful, it is so far and fast reaching that there's basically no rules anymore in there's no rules. There's really no rules in life. The only rules I believe in is like being kind, working hard, and like just be good. I mean, I'm not perfect, but there's a lot of people out there that hold hate and they like to start divide and static, and like I just don't have time for that. I just send them a little kiss emoji and good luck, man. Because I think karma is a huge thing. So if you do good things will happen. And if you've been treated poorly and you had a horrible life, sometimes it's hard to want to love people and hard to want to like care and hard to want to, why would I give a F about anyone else when I had all this happen to me? Well, it's tough, but sometimes, you know, when there is light at the end of the tunnel, you can turn things around, and that first act of kindness can be contagious and it can change your life. So, yeah, anyway, I'm rambling, but, I always forget the beginning questions, but,
No, you tell us. You answer the question. Don't worry about it. Hey, Andy, if you could share just one message about the sharks with the world, what what will it be and why?
wow, that's a tough one. Let's see. Jeez. I guess I would just say I'm really not as bad as you think I am. I'm actually really polite and I got no problems with humans. Just, you know, wish we could all coexist. I think there's probably ways where both sharks can be happy, humans can be happy, fishermen that think that the whole world is out to get them and all their livelihood's going to crash down because the sharks are doing it. Um, I don't know. I guess, yeah, geez. I got to think about that now. That's a tough one. But yeah, really just like, um, geez, if I was a shark, I would say, hey, I love you guys. Why don't you love me? Let's go for a swim. Or I don't know. I mean, a lot of my great white sharks, I often say, hey, if I was a great white, I wouldn't bite you, but I would swim right next to you. Like, hey, Bill, how you doing? And if Bill tries to stab me with a spear gun and kill me, man, that was a surprise. Sorry, Bill, I didn't do anything to you. Because I'm a nice shark, I'll probably go away. But my buddy Brutus, he might be like, hey, man, was that guy picking on you? I don't know. I'm crazy. I don't want to
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like
anthropomorphize
it.
sharks, but I just believe like I think, man, I think sharks are so misunderstood. And if people realize, like, man, we're actually doing a lot of work just by the nature of who we are for you guys, and you don't even notice it. Like seeing the tiger sharks patrol the seagrasses in the Bahamas. I was part of a paper that was published that showed tiger sharks are actually helping combat climate change. I know some people don't like that word, climate change, but tiger sharks are helping reduce carbon emissions from planet Earth. The seagrasses in the Bahamas are the largest carbon sink capture devices on the planet. So if they stay healthy, all the CO2 emissions and things that are going on are reduced by the seagrass in the Bahamas, which are then protected and patrolled by the tiger sharks. If they weren't, all the turtles would eat up all that seagrass and it'd be
Yes.
fucking gone. So everything is interconnected, and I think more and more people, if they understand that, they'll fall more in love with sharks. And you don't have to love sharks, but you really shouldn't like demonize them or hate them. You can fear them respectfully. If you never want to encounter a shark, never go in the ocean and you'll be fine.
Exactly. Awesome, Andy. We almost done. If someone want to follow your footstep in filmmaking and shark conservation, what advice would you give to them to start today?
Buy a GoPro, get out there immediately. If you got more money, buy a red camera, buy a Sony. Do some research, hit me up, ask me. Surround yourself with people that are already doing what you want to do. Look around on the internet, Instagram, YouTube, and say, man, I love that guy. I love that girl. How do I become even a fraction of them or better than them? How can I collaborate with them? I've reached out to so many people over the years. A lot of people don't respond, but you have to have thick skin. Don't take it personal. Some people are so damn busy in real life or in their mind where they're overwhelmed and they can't. Even with you and I, we were supposed to do this last week, and then I'm working on that big project, and then this week I'm like, hey, can we do it 15 minutes earlier? I guess my message to people is like, It's not easy, but if you are so passionate and you truly love what you do, go for it. Don't get intimidated. Get out there. Like, anyone can shoot the greatest shot in the world if they're there to capture it and they get lucky. And it's not all about luck. A lot of people are like, man, you're so lucky. Yeah, all this amazing stuff happened to you. It happened because I left my job making a ton of money in California to go to a job making zero money, but it had my passion. It had the sharks. From there, I could have been still down there, no money, doing whatever I'd be doing now. But I got lucky by putting myself in the right place at the right time to meet National Geographic, which created the greatest mistake of my life, became the filmmaker by accident. So my advice is be passionate. Find something that you really, really love. If you love money, become a stock banker, a stock investor. If you love rockets, good luck. Go work for Elon. If you like sharks, reach out to the Bimini Shark Lab. Reach out to me. Reach out to as many people as you can. There's no excuse anymore for not achieving your dreams because they're literally at your fingertips. So do it.
Awesome, bro. Hey, I know you're a busy person. Two last questions. Uh, Sharks and orcas, bears. There's
I like
another.
that. I like that. I was literally thinking about this last night, that the orcas, they don't eat, I know that they say they're the kings of the ocean now because we all know that they can take out great whites relatively easily, but they're obviously not that cool if they don't even have an emoji. I mean, like, there's emojis for like ballet dancing and snowboarding, and there's emoji of a plastic cup or like a tequila shot, but there's no emoji for the greatest apex predator to ever exist on planet Earth. What the F, Apple? Or who does this? I do love killer whales. I gotta say, I filmed them in Patagonia, in Norway, in New Zealand. I've seen them off of California, and up there in Alaska. Even saw some in Iceland. Didn't get in the water there, but wow, they're incredible. I do love them. I was heartbroken when I started to realize that they like eating great white sharks for breakfast. But I thought, hey man, they got to eat too, and maybe it'll help great white sharks evolve into even more of a super predator. So
Awesome.
I don't know.
I like that they don't have emoji. I love it.
It's weird, right? Where's the killer whale emoji? The dolphins have an emoji. Turtles have an emoji. Snakes, spiders, ants, grasshopper. No killer whale. No orca.
Yeah.
What the hell? How can we petition to create? Well, maybe we shouldn't. The orcas already have too much. They're already getting too much publicity.
Awesome, Andy. Hey, my friend, where can people find you and follow your work?
So pretty much across all of the social media channels, I go by ABC, the number 4, Explore. And it's just my name, Andy Brandy Casagrande IV, Explore. Like, explore the world, explore your universe, do whatever. And I had mentioned I should have a pretty big announcement coming out around Shark Week time about a new project I'm working on, which will be much bigger than what I've been doing now. I hope so. So, yeah, but yeah, ABC4 Explore. And again, I do get a lot of messages from a lot of people, some weird people, some of it's scams, some of it's whatever. So for me to go through and sift through what's real and not real, it sometimes takes a while. And I almost never respond to comments online. If someone really wants to connect and talk to me or ask me a question, send me a direct message, send me an email. You can call me too, but I don't answer random numbers. But anyway, I always try my best to get back to people and help out, because when I was young, I asked a lot of questions and a lot of people were super kind to me. Paul Nicklin, he's another photographer, an amazing person who's been just a fucking rock star on every level. I met him a handful of times. He takes the time to talk. I'm able to hit him up online. Give him a call. He gives me advice. I actually am overdue to connect with him about this new project. So yeah, man, thank you. And yeah, for everyone out there, just do it. There's no excuse anymore. If you love sharks, if you love anything, everyone can help you if you help yourself. So go for it. Hit us up. And hey, man, I appreciate being on here. And I hope this inspires some people and gets them into conservation, research, science, education, entertainment. Anything, like you said at the beginning, Shark Week. If I really believed I was doing more bad than good, I would not do it. I know by the volume of messages and emails and phone calls that I get from parents and kids and adults that I'm making a good impact on the planet through Shark Week. I wish I got more hate mail. Haters, please hook me up, man. I love it. I wish I got more hate mail. I shouldn't say that. You can delete that.
Hey, Andy, I really appreciate your time. I'm very grateful with you and with the
Thank
Shark
you.
World, and thank you very much for being part of this webinar.
100%, man. Thanks for your patience, for lining it up, and I'll keep you posted on the other stuff. Hit me up after this, and I'll send you some links to the clips, the physical clips, so you don't have to download it from Instagram or whatever. Of the brothers, of my 3 moments. I'm sure I should find them, and you can have them to use.
That will be great, so I can share with the community.
Awesome, brother.
Awesome, bro. A big
Thank
hug.
you.
Thank you, my friend.
Great
Have
to
a
see
good
you. Have
one.
a nice day and a good weekend.
You too, brother. Thank you very much.
Peace.
Pues, ¿qué les digo? Muchísimas gracias a todos por ser parte de este webinar, por ser parte del Land and Dive Encounter Community, en la cual estamos comprometidos con el bienestar principalmente de estas especies que tanto nos gustan. Les mando un fuerte abrazo aquí desde la Bitácora del Capitán y nos vemos hasta la próxima. Hasta la vista.